So, apparently we're doing stand-up comedy in diplomatic briefings now, because Donald Trump just decided that the perfect response to a serious question about military transparency was to bring up attack on Pearl Harbor. Yes, that Pearl Harbor, the one with thousands of deaths, the one that literally pulled the United States into World War II, the one you'd think maybe, just maybe, doesn't belong in a punchline. But here we are. Let me translate what happened, because the surface-level version almost undersells how absurd this is. A journalist asks a completely fair question. Why weren't allies informed before a military action? Simple, direct, diplomatic. And instead of answering, instead of even pretending to answer, Trump goes, "Well, why didn't you warn us about Pearl Harbor?" Ah yes, the classic move. When in doubt, time travel to 1941 and blame the person in front of you. Brilliant, truly.
One question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan?
Now, some people are going to say, "Oh, come on, it's just sarcasm." And listen, I love sarcasm. I thrive on sarcasm. Sarcasm is a lifestyle, but sarcasm requires timing, awareness, and ideally, a basic understanding of context. And dropping a Pearl Harbor reference in front of Japanese officials, including Sanai Takaichi, is not edgy. It's not clever. It's not even particularly original. It's just lazy. Because here's what's actually happening underneath all of this noise. There's a real issue on the table, a surprise military move, allies left in the dark, legitimate concerns about coordination and trust, and instead of addressing that, we get a historical callback like it's an open mic night in 2007.
Pearl Harbor, okay? Right? You know, he's asking me.
And can we talk about the room for a second? That silence, that beautiful, deafening, awkward silence, that's not people being too sensitive. That's professionals realizing in real time that they're stuck in a conversation that just went completely off the rails because diplomacy runs on signals. Tone matters, words matter, references matter. You don't accidentally bring up one of the most painful shared moments between two nations unless you either A. Don't understand the weight of it, or B. Don't care. And honestly, I'll let you pick which one is worse. But here's my favorite part. My absolute favorite part. This works, not diplomatically, not strategically. But, media-wise? Oh, it works beautifully. Because now, instead of headlines asking, "Why weren't allies informed about a military strike?" we get, "Trump sparks controversy with Pearl Harbor comment." Mission accomplished. The conversation has officially been dragged away from policy into spectacle. And of course, over in Japan, people are reacting exactly how you'd expect. Confusion, discomfort, some anger, a lot of, "Did he really just say that?" Yes. Yes, he did. Let's be very clear about something. You can be unconventional in politics. You can challenge norms. You can even be provocative. But there's a difference between being provocative and being unserious. And when you start treating moments like attack on Pearl Harbor as conversational props, you're not projecting strength. You're signaling that you either don't grasp or don't respect the weight of the stage you're standing on. And here's where the sarcasm really writes itself. Because this wasn't just a joke, it was a deflection disguised as humor, wrapped in a historical reference, delivered with the confidence of someone who knows the clip will go viral no matter what. And you know what? He's right. But virality is not credibility. Noise is not leadership. And turning diplomacy into a series of headline-grabbing moments doesn't make the underlying problems disappear. It just makes them harder to talk about. So the next time you see this clip, and you will, because it's everywhere, don't just ask, "Was that offensive?" Ask the more interesting question. What wasn't answered because of it? I'm Catherine White. And if this is what passes for just a joke now, I'd hate to see what a serious answer looks like.